Ask Reddit on Reddit Rundown. What is the hottest thing anyone has done/said to you? A girl I slept with once woke me up in the morning, and immediately gave me a blowjob with a lot of eye contact. Still think about that years later. Sex was an exciting new frontier for me and my partner. We had waited for a long time before we were comfortable trying it. I was personally insecure about doing it and he had a bad sex experience. When we started getting into the groove of things, I thought doggy style was pretty great and missionary was not great. I assumed he felt the same, seeing that he came quicker when we did doggy style. Amidst talking about it, my dude said that he preferred facing me when we did it, so he could see my beautiful face. It made me so happy to hear that. I realized my body insecurity hampered my personal missionary experience. I ended up enjoying sex more knowing he loved seeing my body and my face. Okay, so not hottest in terms of it got instantly dripping, but I, like many women, do not have perfectly equally sized boobs. First time having sex, we were naked. While I wasn't super insecure about my body, I was 18, a virgin and very fucking nervous. So, we were naked, fooling around and he was playing with lefty, kissing and caressing. Then he moves on to righty. He plays for a second, pauses, goes back and gives lefty a honk. Oh fuck, I thought, I have horrified him with my discordantly sized bosoms. He pauses, and then, with a tone of delighted wonder says, "This one's even bigger." Like he'd found an extra 20 in his pocket. All my nerves melted away and I had what I believed to be a significantly better than average first time. Working retail, the cutest customer I've ever seen walks in. She asks me some bullshit, it becomes the smallest of talks. Trying to figure out how to advance this conversation so if she comes in again, we'll have a rapport. So we should hang out sometime. Let me tell you, that is the hardest I have ever been. Right there in the bulk foods aisle. I was visiting one of our sister companies and the manager I was speaking to cut me off mid-sentence. Said something like, "I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry. I didn't hear a word you said. I can't stop looking at your eyes. They're gorgeous." I was, at once, horribly embarrassed and massively gratified. Made for a warm rush to the special regions. "You can do whatever you want to me," said right before my first time. It set the stage pretty well, considering how nervous I was. After getting with the girl I was perusing for a few months, we finished and were laid next to each other and I was audibly panting and said, "I need to go to the gym more often," and she said without pause, "Or you could just fuck me more often." It was a big turn on to be wanted back the way I wanted her and that the feeling was mutual. First year uni. My first proper girlfriend introduced me to back massages when I was 19, she was 18 and more experienced. She rubbed me, she kissed me, she grinded herself against me as I lay there moaning. More than 20 years later I still find myself thinking about that occasion, and the part it always plays when I'm pampering other partners. First time I was with an ex, I warned her, "If you don't slow down, I'm gonna come," and she moaned "oh yeah," and went harder like that was the sexiest thing she'd ever heard. Still sticks out in my mind. Luckily, she was on birth control because eventually she got really into cocaine and grew metaphorical wings and a tail and turned into a monster. One of the school dances during my senior year, this girl just makes her way to me, drapes her arms around my neck, and starts dancing with me while looking me straight in the eyes to show me how much she was enjoying the moment and so she could see how much I was, too. We said virtually nothing to each other the entire time. We shared a couple songs in the crowd, got as close as being a school function would allow, and then she was gone. Never met her before, never saw her since. Straight up confidence. Unafraid to go for what she wanted. And showing me so directly how wanted I was. Hoo boy. I haven't thought about her for a long time. Thanks, Op. Sitting at a bar by myself and enjoying a drink. This was 15 years ago or so. This young lady I don't really know at all sits at the stool next to me and says, "I'm sucking somebody's dick tonight and I want it to be yours." I throw my drink down my gullet and flash her my wedding ring. She responded, "I'm married too and you don't have to feel about it." I walk off. I don't regret it because I love my wife. But it made me feel good about me because there were a lot of available choices for her there and she chose me first. Plus, I have never gotten an offer like that before, stated so bluntly. I had to take a screenshot of this one picture of you at the beach because your chest made me wet as fuck. I have a big chest and had never realized it was an attractive thing for some women, so yeah, that motivated me pretty hard to hit it more often at the gym. When I was in high school, I worked as a bagger. So, as I'm punching out, I wait for this girl that always worked mornings. Never really worked together. She was punching out as I was punching in. As she slowly walks away as I punch in, she says, "The other day I was really horny and I thought of you." I'm sure she saw me freeze, cause then she said, "You'd fuck me, right?" I looked at her and said yeah. She asked for my number and when I got off, we smashed. She was a wild one. Picking up a girl from the airport who I had been talking to, she was visiting for the weekend. She was wearing a sundress, walked up to me, hugged me, and put her panties in my pocket that she had taken off in the airport bathroom. Another girl threatened to suck my dick off. After I threw up in my friend's bathroom from having too much to drink, my then fiancée thought she'd make me feel better by blowing me. And then we had sex right there on the bathroom floor. That was several years ago, and it remains the hottest, most intense sex we've had. A girl once came and gave me a hug outside this place where we were at a wedding reception for some friends. She eventually started kissing my neck, took my hand and let it underneath her dress, and turned out she had no panties on. She whispered in my ear, "I want you to fuck me hard," and we found this amazing little spot inside some bushes and trees, and just had this insanely passionate 5-minute fuck in there. That's roughly 10 years ago, and that woman is my wife now. She's awesome. I love her more every day, and think she's even sexier now than when we met. We don't have sex quite as often as we used to, of course, but it's still really good when we do. We have a 5-year-old son, and I just love him and her to bits. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. My fuck buddy and I were lying in bed probably 15 minutes after round 2. She starts sucking my dick again. I tell her I don't think I have another load in me. She responds, almost flippantly, "I don't care, I just like sucking your dick." Turns out I did have another load in me. Not necessarily the hottest, but the most standout moment of my life. I was in a rough relationship in college. My girlfriend was super controlling and mentally abusive, and any shred of self-confidence I may have had was stomped out long ago. Enter A. A and I became fast friends, and I started crushing on her really hard. We would go on long walks when my girlfriend and I fought, and I admitted I liked her on one of those walks. I have never seen such a vibrant smile. A few weeks later, after a really nasty fight, I told my girlfriend I was going home single and she would be lucky to see me in the morning, and even luckier if I forgave her. I texted A that I was nuclear and turning my phone off. She immediately told me that she was coming to check on me. She caught me on the walk home and walked me home. I kissed her for the first time on the walk, but the second kiss was the best. We walked into my house and into my room. I closed the door and she put her hands on my chest and kissed me, and I'd never felt such love and passion. I will never forget that exact moment. Cut to 4.5 years later, I just rolled into my chest in her sleep while I write this. I'm marrying her in a few months. My self-confidence is at an all-time high and I've never been happier. My GF has very pale skin. We were having sex in the middle of the day with sunlight streaming in from the window on us, and as she orgasms, I see her change color. Without exaggeration. A flush blooms in the middle of her chest and I watch it spread over her body, changing from porcelain white to an incredibly satisfying pink. It might have been the greatest gift I've ever received. I was at a house party many years ago. There were a lot of people there, and as I was trying to find my way through the crowd, I accidentally spilled some of my beer on this tall, attractive guy. Trying not to be too entranced by his handsome looks, I quickly tried to wipe the beer off of him with my hand. I blabbered something about his t-shirt not being so wet. He gave me this serious, yet alluring look and said, "Good. Now, let's start working on getting you wet." Just recently I've been talking and hanging out with this girl I met over the summer. Only recently have we been getting sexually active. Well, I'm sitting at work on the night shift just chatting shit with a coworker when I get a snap from her. That's weird, I don't usually get straight up snap pictures from oh my god. Here comes a snap of her wearing nothing but panties and a button-up shirt I left at her place, ever so gracefully covering her tits, with the caption, "I want you again so bad, Holy shit, I went from 0 to a 10 in like 2 seconds. Good thing the coworker was talking to someone else at that time and I had time to adjust myself before it became pretty obvious. So, I was with my girlfriend at the time. I drove to a nice spot. When we reached there's an amazing sunset. Without saying anything she opens my zipper and begins giving me head. I couldn't keep my eyes open with intense pleasure. I finished fast, she swallowed my cum. Then she proceeds to put her head in my chest and enjoy the sunset. A few years ago, I was baking with a friend. We were doing these mini chocolate truffles, so I picked one up to give to her. Instead of taking it, she eats it from my fingers, and as she does, she sucks on my thumb for just a fraction of a second. Instant boner. Thankfully I was wearing briefs, so it didn't end up being awkward. An ex-girlfriend and I went to see a movie. It was the last showing and literally only one other couple in the theater. She made sure we went to the last row and I thought it was because she wanted to make out during the movie. We did that, but she also decided she wanted more. She climbed on my lap and was grinding on me, told me she wanted me inside of her, unzipped my pants and started going at it. I only lasted a couple of minutes because she leaned back and told me to come inside her. That was like some kind of trigger word because a couple of thrusts later and I was unloading. I still can't watch Some of All Fears without getting a hard on. Let me come. It took me a couple of seconds to figure out what she meant. Turns out, her orgasms were coming in too fast and too strong. She didn't choose the clearest way to say this, but then her mind wasn't very focused at the time. She meant that she needed a bit of a break between orgasms. God bless multi-orgasmic girls. I feel so bad because I'm not with this person anymore, and I love my BF very much, but he doesn't like having sex outside or in public areas and I do. This happened with a FWB I had before him. Sex with my BF is crazy amazing and raunchy. This guy I was with took me to a nature reserve and we found a secluded area that overlooked more of the reserve. I was just looking, but then he came up behind me and started pulling my leggings down. Wait, no, right here? Why not? I don't know why, but the smug, free-caring way he said why not got me incredibly wet. We were fucking hard, trying to be quiet. Then, I saw a male and female deer down in the area we were standing above. It was a beautiful moment. It's a tie between wake up birthday fellatio I didn't even suggest, a girlfriend telling me she wants to use me to learn to deep throat like the internet girls, and a girlfriend telling me she wants to try anal without me suggesting it because I didn't think she was the type. The hottest random thing that didn't involve sending photos unsolicited. I was eating a banana outside during grad school with some friends. A woman, classmate but not too close, got down on her knees in front of my friends and I, bent over and took a bite out of my banana that I was sort of holding in my lap without using her hands. She winked, got up and walked off. The second hottest thing was maybe the time I was at a work meeting at a coffee shop, sitting across from a female colleague. My computer was plugged in on her side. Towards the end of the meeting, we were packing up to go. I asked her to unplug me. Without missing a beat, she said, "That's so direct of you." She unplugged my computer and I got flushed. Later on in an email where she was informing us of something, I thanked her in a reply all for keeping us plugged in. She sent me a wink. Once a GF sent me a text pretending to been kidnapped and needs her hero, me, to come rescue her. When I got there, I found a note saying I'd been recognized as an amazing hero. With it were 2 shots which the note stated would give me the strength to save the woman I loved. The note also pointed out there were puzzles around the apartment I had to solve to be able to enter where she was being held captive, her room. After completing the puzzles I entered to find her in lingerie with ribbons wrapped around her wrists and ankles. And, yada yada, it was a good night. I was with this guy once and we had insane chemistry from our dinner an hour earlier. We were at his place just cuddling on the couch and we start making out. All of the sudden, he pulls my hair back kind of aggressively and I was equal parts shocked and turned on. I moaned a little bit out of shock and pleasure. He looks me in the eyes and goes, "You're bad, aren't you?" I just looked at him, nodded submissively, and nearly came right there. We had the most passionate sex ever. Hair pulling, choking, and biting, the baddest sex of my life, and it stands to be the hottest sex I've ever had. And then he ghosted me a few weeks later. Toxic piece of shit, but damn, That sex lamau. Making out and fooling around with my ex, I quietly asked what she would like more than anything. She stopped, pulled her head back, looked me dead in the eyes and in the most no bullshit, serious voice goes, "I want you to fuck me." Since my blood had vacated my brain, all I could do was blink and say okie dokie like lunch lady Doris in The Simpsons. So, my girl and I had broken up because of distance. I worked on a steamboat, and we realized that it would be weird to be together when we can't be together, so we mutually split. Well, I got with a girl a few weeks later and she came to my room. She was a fellow employee. Also, the crew shared rooms, so my roommate opened the door and each bunk had privacy curtains, and she climbed into my bed while I was sleeping and gave me head. Scared me when I woke up, but I then proceeded to have the most confusing orgasm of my life. 8/10, would do it again. If you like the video, give a thumbs up and subscribe. And check out other videos on my channel. Thank you and have an awesome day.